who are these people? Who are these people that they're causing so much trouble for us? In Sefer Shmot, open that. Chapter 12, verse 28. We learn something interesting. Sorry, not 28, verse 38. 38. Chapter 12, verse 38. And it says, V'gam Erev Rav ala itam, v'tzon u'bakar miknei kaved me'od. And also the Erev Rav, the mixed multitude, went up with them, and flock and cattle, very much livestock. So this is the first time in the entire Torah that we hear a new expression about a different part of Am Yisrael. A part of Am Yisrael called Erev Rav. Not much really part of Am Yisrael, but meaning a bunch of Egyptians that joined Am Yisrael after the Exodus, after Yetziat Mitzrayim, and said, we want to join Am Yisrael, we want to follow your God, we want to convert, take us. And they're called the Erev Rav. And later on, that's the first time it's mentioned in the Torah, but then later on, we see that in the golden calf sin, it says that the Erev Rav were the ones that actually built the golden calf. And we also see that these Erev Rav, these fake converts, were the very same ones that have been torturing us every single generation. Now, in the Mechilta de Rabbi Ishmael, Parashat Bo, Masechta de Pischa Yudalet 14, the Chazal is giving us a little bit of an idea. Who is this Erev Rav? How many are they? Are they just a few thousand, like some people think? Or are there many? How do they cause so much damage if there's only a few thousand? Because after the sin of the golden calf, HaShem says, kill the ones that sinned. And it says they killed about 3,000 people. It says, oh, you killed all the Erev Rav. So how could there still be Erev Rav today if you killed them? So in this Mechilta, the Rabbi Ishmael, there's three opinions of how many were actually Erev Rav. When it says in the Pasuk, V'gam Erev Rav ala itam, they say, what does it mean, V'gam Erev Rav? What does it mean, and they also came with them? There's so many of them. How many were they? They say either 120 ribo, 240 ribo, or 360 ribo. What does that mean in English? 1.2 million, 2.4 million, or 3.6 million. In comparison to the Jews, anywhere from double to 6 times the amount of Jews. Many more than Am Yisrael. Because Am Yisrael, how many was? 60 ribo. 600,000. We had 600,000 men between the age of 20 and 60. Here it says, Erev Rav, 1.2 million to 3.6 million. Minimum opinion is double the amount of Am Yisrael. Highest opinion, which is of Rabbi Natan, is 3.6 million, 6 times the amount of Am Yisrael. So the 3,000 was just a few leaders. It wasn't all of them. So that's first and foremost, when people say how they make so much influence, how there's so many still today, because there was a lot. That's number one. Zohar Kadosh, Parashat Bereshit, 25a. It says, Erev Rav were also around at the time of the flood, of Noach. And Noach didn't have any mercy on them, and he let them all die outside. He didn't let them into the ark. So now we have a confusion here. Because up to this now, all of us thought that Erev Rav, were just mentioned here, first time they came to being, was in Yetziat Mitzrayim. It was a bunch of Egyptians. But Chazal is telling us, what Egyptians? What are you talking about? They were already around in Genesis, creation. Who is this Erev Rav then? It's a good question. In the Gemara, Masechet, I believe it's Chagiga. Let me check. Yeah. Gemara Masechet Chagiga, page 13b and 14, says the following. Amar Rabbi Shimon HaChasid, אלו 974 דורות שקומתו להיברות. Rabbi Shimon, the Chassid, says, these are the 974 generations that were ordained originally to be created, before the world was created. But in the end, they were not created. And the Holy One, blessed is He, proceeded to plant some of them in each of the generations, and these are the brazen-faced people in the generation. So if you remember, many times we mentioned that the Torah was created 974 generations before the world. But if you look at the actual genealogy of how long was the world was around from creation according to the Torah until Moshe Rabbeinu, it was only 26 generations. So where is this 974 generations? So this Gemara is giving us a chidush. It says, HaShem originally wanted to give the Torah after 1,000 generations. In honor of 1,000 generations, we'll give you the Torah, but he knew that the world wouldn't last. Why? Because without Torah for that long, he'd destroy the world over and over again. Even after a couple of generations, generation of Noach was not that far after creation, he destroyed the world. Why? The Reshaim. Without Torah, you can't be righteous. It's impossible. It's impossible to be righteous without Torah. So he said, since I already created these neshamot, what am I going to do with them? Create 974 generations worth of neshamot. So what am I going to do? I'm going to spread a little bit of them. All these people that don't have the Torah, don't have the Yirat Shamayim, they're not good, they're bad neshamot. I'm going to spread a little bit of them in every generation. There's 974 generations, I created them. But I'm going to spread a little bit of them in every generation, because if I bring them all at once, I destroy the world instantly. Who is this 974 generations? That's Erev Rav. That's Erev Rav. So that answers the question of who were these Erev Rav at the time of Noach. How were they such wicked people? They were created that way. So now, okay, it's Gemara. Baruch Hashem. So now, it's a question of, Tosfot asks, how could Hashem punish them if He created them that way where they sinned immediately? He says, no, He didn't create them to sin, but because they had lack of Torah, they chose to do everything against it. They just had the 7 laws of Noach. They didn't want to follow the laws of Noach, so they decided to sin against it, and that's why they get punished. But anyway, the holy book of Zohar, Zohar Kadosh, says that there are 5 types of Erev Rav. 5 types. Who is this Erev Rav? Nephilim, Giborim, Anakim, Refaim, Amalekim. Those are the 5 types of Erev Rav. Nephilim, if you remember, was in Genesis. Those were the giants. They were half angels, half human. Then Giborim, then Anakim, these were also giants. Refaim was also their descendants. And Amalekim, we remember Amalek, Hashem promised to destroy them. When the Mashiach comes, he's going to destroy them. But when Yeshua ben Nun, Joshua, was beating them finally in a very, very big war that Chazal says was bigger war than the war of Gog and Magog is going to be, because it was full of spirituality and magic and all types of spiritual things. He says he was almost beating them. Hashem says to Moshe, tell him to stop. I promise I'll destroy him for him later on, but I need him to stay in the world. So the Zohar Kadosh in Parashat Bereshit says that there are 5 types of Erev Rav. And who is this Erev Rav? It says this Erev Rav has one mission. One mission on earth. What is this mission? To weaken Am Yisrael. What does it mean, weaken Am Yisrael? Kill them? No. Not kill them physically. Kill them spiritually. Weaken them in a sense of getting them further from Hashem Yitbarach. Why? Because who's their mother? Satan's wife. Zohar Kadosh says, Satan's wife, that's their mother. And she tells them, you're my soldiers, I have the demons that that from sins. That's in the spiritual world. And I have you in the physical world. You go get them to do Michalet Shabbat, to eat Taref, to do this, to do all the things against Torah, you get convinced them. Now the Zohar Kadosh is saying that in the end of times, the Erev Rav are going to be rulers. Now the Amahalchu, Zecher Tzadik Livracha, which was the big Talmid of the Arizal, wrote in his book Etz HaChaim, that in the end of times, one of the reasons why the Arizal says he knew different things about the end of times, he said, I just want to make sure I'm not there. And many other sages that spoke about end of times, what's going to happen before the Mashiach comes, they prayed not to be alive at that time. Even though it's a big merit to be alive at the time of Mashiach, they said, we don't want to be alive. We don't want the merit. Lama, they don't want the merit. So it's going to be too difficult. The tests are going to be unbelievable. You're not going to be able to know what's right and left. Why? One of the biggest tests is that the Erev Rav are going to be some of the biggest leaders in the world. And we're not talking about just presidents of countries and presidents of organizations. We're talking about heads of kollel, heads of synagogues, heads of Jewish organizations, where their primary job is to cool the nation and get them away from God in the name of Torah. Exactly as the Ramban says, Naval Birshut Torah. He goes against the Torah by using the Torah. And he goes on to say, these Erev Rav, at the end of days, are going to be called Rabbanim. But they're not Rabbanim, they're Rabbanim. Rabbanim means they're evil sons. So now, we have a problem. If you look at the Gemara, Masechet Beitzah, I don't know if I brought it, page 32b, it says, the rich people of Bavel in those times were all guaranteed to go to Gehinnom. Why are you going to Gehinnom? Why? Because you have money, you're going to Gehinnom. Because all of them we know for sure, they're all Erev Rav. How do you know why? Because he has money, that's it. He's Erev Rav, everybody rich is Erev Rav. There's plenty of tzaddikim that had money in history and today. Yaron was rich of rich. Rabbi Akiva was very rich. Many of the tzaddikim were rich. Why? Just because he's rich, he's Erev Rav? There's plenty of today, Baruch HaShem. There's plenty of people that are rich and have are tzaddikim. What's the problem? But no, it has nothing to do with that. In that generation in Babylon, the rich, Erev Rav. How do we know? People come to them, ask for a job. Didn't have any money. Said, I don't want your money. I'm not asking for tzedakah. Just give me a job. Job. Give me some fish. I'll go sell it in the market. We'll split the profit. Give me some tools. I'll go in the market. I'll sell. We'll split the profit. I'm not asking for tzedakah. Just give me a job. You already have goods. Give me the goods. I'll sell it. Said, no. Go away. Okay, so you don't want to give me a job. Give me tzedakah. Like, no, go die. Go somewhere else. So that's no mercy. Someone who has no mercy, that's Erev Rav. Why? Because in order to know whether you are a descendant of Avraham Avinu, you must have certain qualities. One of them, you must be merciful. And Erev Rav, not merciful. And you'll notice that many of the wicked people, even if they have a hat and a beard, sometimes they don't have a hat and a beard. Just because they have a hat and a beard doesn't mean good, doesn't mean bad. Hat, beard, this is just a uniform, it's free. You'll see the ones that are creating new laws, like this Drek guy, you'll see this certain things that just don't fit. Certain things don't fit. There's one other rabbi that I know of. For the purpose of discussion, I'm not going to mention his name. Even if you know the name, don't mention it. Because you're not allowed to say he's Erev Rav, he's not Erev Rav. We don't know who's Erev Rav. We don't know if he's Erev Rav, the other guys, we don't know. All we know is what's the definition of Erev Rav. If someone falls under that definition, he's Erev Rav. That's their problem though. But it's not yours to tell them you're Erev Rav. Don't start pointing, you're Erev Rav, you're Erev Rav. Everybody's a Mechal Shabbat, Erev Rav. Everybody doesn't teach Yirat Shamayim is Erev Rav. No. Maybe he is, maybe he's not. We don't know. That's for the Mashiach to determine. The point is, we learn qualities to stay away from and qualities to emulate. So, this one big rabbi, very big rabbi, Baruch Hashem, Hashem gave him plenty of money, plenty of fame, plenty of everything. On at least 3 occasions, 3 different people came to me, told me, I went to him, and I told him, I cannot afford to send my kid to yeshiva. Yeshiva costs $500, $600 a month, $1,000 a month, whatever it is. I can't afford. And he said that he has a program in his big organization that he has, in his big shul that he has. He has a program that specifically people donate to pay for other people's yeshiva. They have money, they want to donate. They say, you don't have money for yeshiva, we're going to pay for it for you, scholarship. Because it's very important for a Jew to go to yeshiva. It's very important for a girl or a boy, this little kid, to go to Jewish school. Can't go to public school. We talked about this before. So that's why he has a program and people donate. It's not coming from him. It's coming from donators. On at least 3 occasions. At least 3, there's more, but at least 3 for sure I know, I verified. 3 occasions people came to me, I saw them, I spoke to them, I verified. They said, we came to him, we said, my kid cannot go to yeshiva, we cannot afford it, I lost my job, I lost my business, I lost this, I lost that, can't afford. Went to the yeshiva, they won't accept it without money, which is a different sin of its own, by the way. Just so you know, Rabbi Yisrael Misalant, one of the women in town, cried to him, she said, they won't let my son in yeshiva. He said, why not? She goes, because I don't have any money. Rabbi Yisrael Misalant closed his holy books and started screaming at the Keilah, sell the Sefer Torah, sell the Sefer Torah, sell the Sefer Torah. Like, why, Kvod Rav? Why? We need a Sefer Torah. He goes, sell the Sefer Torah to go pay for this boy to go to yeshiva. Much more important for the boy to go to yeshiva than you have a Sefer Torah. That's the difference, somebody who's Da'at Torah or Shtuyot. So schools didn't let him because they don't have any money, which is a different sin of its own. But whatever, this other guy, Rabbi, had a program, scholarship. 3 people came to him with the kid. My kid cannot go to yeshiva. He says, send him to public school. 3 different people don't know each other. He says, it's not my business, send them to public school. Maybe it's paying for his house. I don't know what it's been doing. I have no idea. All I know, this is the story. This is the beginning. This is the end of the story. 3 different stories. If it was 1 story, I say, If it was 2 stories, I say, If it's 3 and it's verified, it's already a big deal. It's more than 3. I'm telling you, 3 verified, for sure. The guy said, and all 3 sounded exactly the same. The guy said, it's not my business, send him to public school. What do you mean it's not your business? You make $500,000 a year. You should pay for it. How many rabbis make $500,000 a year? You should pay for it if you don't have a scholarship program. If you really believe in this Torah, you keep preaching to us. So, Gemara says in Masechet Beitzah, page 32, how do you know it's Erev Rav? They don't have Rachmanut. They don't have mercy. They have the ability to help, but they don't want to help. That's one major sign between Erev Rav and the rest of Am Yisrael. The second thing, that you notice is that they teach Torah with a missing ingredient. They teach Torah, but there's something missing. What's missing? Exactly what Rabbi Chanina ben Dosa is talking about. They're teaching you Torah, but it doesn't sound the same. It sounds friendlier. It sounds nicer. Sounds like everybody's okay. They tell you, Habibi, you're okay. You're okay, Hashem loves you. Hashem loves everyone. If he wanted you to suffer, he'd do something else. He loves you. Okay, so why did the Holocaust happen? No, it's some other reason. We don't understand it. Okay, so why do people have a cancer? Oh, no, you know, we don't understand those things. So we don't understand anything? So why does Hashem give us the Torah? So we don't understand anything? We read the entire Torah, we still don't know anything? Why do we have a Torah? Why do you give us a Torah if we're not going to know anything anyway? Just tell us, listen, you're a golem, put in the world, don't give us Torah, we don't know anything, we don't do anything, that's it. But he told us. So he says, Rabbi Chanina, you're going to notice that the Torah is a little different. It's missing a key ingredient. The key ingredient meaning it's Yirat Shamayim is missing. Everyone's okay. Now, if you notice, when you read the parasha about the Meraglim, the spies, Hashem wasn't happy with the spies. He told us he's going to give us a land of milk and honey, and we didn't take his word for it. We said, let's send some spies to go check out the land. Said, if that wasn't bad enough, they came back, and 10 out of the 12 said Lashon Hara about the land. Remember that story, right? You read Parashat Shavua. Said, so now, Hashem wanted to destroy us, but in chapter 14, verse 24, we see that Hashem didn't destroy us, but rather, He punished us. Punished us really, really bad. He told us that we're going to be in the desert for the next 40 years. none of the generations that are alive are going to be alive to see Eretz Yisrael. Why? Why? What does he get out of this? It says, "V'yadatim et tnuotai." So you know how bad it is to go against me. Meaning, I'm punishing you this severely. You just said a few words about land. You didn't say bad things about people. You didn't say bad things about my laws. You didn't say that homosexuality is allowed. You didn't say that you're allowed to eat tarif. You didn't say you're allowed to drive on Shabbat. You didn't say those things. You didn't say anything against my Torah. You didn't say anything. You just went and spoke. You said, I sent you to some land. You said you didn't like it. In so many words. For that, none of you are going to see it. You're going to have to suffer. Okay, none of you are going to see it. You can just kill them all. You go, no. I'm going to keep you here. And you're going to suffer here for 40 years in a desert. Why? So you know the severity of going against me on even something small. That seems small to you. Why does it seem small to you? Because you don't understand what magnitude your actions have in Shamayim. Now if you ask a little boy, I heard this from Rav Nisim again, Zecher Tzadik Livracha. He said, if you ask a little boy, how big is this star? He'll tell you, oh, it's the size of a coin. But you know that some stars are bigger than the sun. Why does he think that the star is so small? Because he's really far away from the star. He's far from knowledge of where the star is. So Rabbi Yisrael Misalant, in the book Or Israel, he says, if we knew what Gehinnom really is, which he describes it a little bit. He says just a little bit. In the beginning of the book, he describes it a little bit, Gehinnom, a little bit of fire. A little bit. Rabbi Yisrael Misalat, a little bit he talks about it. He says, if you knew a little bit about the fire in Gehinnom, a little, you'd be so scared that just not going there as a result of our actions is enough of a reward. Just not going to Gehinnom, that's already worth living righteous. Keeping all the mitzvot, tefillin, Rabbeinu Tam, Rashi, anything you want, 17 tefillin, 5 Shabbats, whatever. Just do anything, just don't go to the fire in Gehinnom. That's what Rabbi Yisrael Misalant says. If you knew the fire, just a little bit of Gehinnom, a little bit, what it is, not going there is enough of a reward to be righteous your entire life. So the fact that you're asking for a reward bichlal means that not only do you not know what you're really getting when you're not going there, you don't know what real reward is, but you don't even know what the punishment is. That's how far you are from the star. You're worse than the kid that thinks the star is a coin. When Hashem told Am Yisrael, I'm punishing you for 40 years to be in a desert. Why? So you know the consequence of going against me for something small. So you know. He's not talking to them, he's talking to us. If it was just to them, he wouldn't write it in his Torah. Because everything that's written in the Torah, it's to us, not to them. So when you're taking out that ingredient of fear, of the consequence, of the price of sin, then we all think that the star is just a coin. The sin is far from us. It's not so bad. So what? I drive on Shabbat. I'm driving to Beit Knesset. So what if I have a girlfriend on the side aside from my wife? It's not a big deal. So what if I waste seed? So what if I eat tarif? So what if I steal? So what this? So what that? Everything is so what? Why? The rabbi with the beard and the hat, or the no beard and the no hat, or the top hat, or the small hat, or whatever hat, The guy that's a Mesalef, that's really an Erev Rav, not a Rav, an Erev Rav, he told me it's okay. He told me everything's okay. I'm a tzaddik. Just make sure the check clears. As long as the check clears, everything's okay.
The word Erev Rav means evening rabbi.
Shem Yerachem. Shem Yerachem. So now, when you see that there's an ingredient missing in this Torah, you see, you have a problem. You have a problem. Let me know what you think, and make sure to share it, because other people